Welcome back to the Dark Reading News Desk. I'm Terry Sweeney, contributing editor to Dark Reading, and joining me now is ChrisJacob of Securonics. Chris, thanks so much for joining us here on the News Desk.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We are, of course, talking about AI and the threat landscape. Start us off with some thoughts around where the biggest challenges are for security professionals with regard to how to be and work and live in this AI-powered threat landscape. Why should we be optimistic about the ability to defend against these attacks? Should we be optimistic?
Well, I think the security professionals are facing really the same challenge that most industries are facing, and that's exactly what this is going to look like. And I think the knee-jerk reaction is, well, hey, this is a big cost savings. We're going to be able to hire less people and, automate more. And I think there's some of that that's probably going to happen, but really what we need to look at is how we can embrace the scalability that this brings. I don't think it needs to replace humans, at least yet. I think we need to look at how we can take the things that machines are better at doing and let them run with it, let them scale.
I know the automation pitch is sort of the Wall Street vibe for sure. The processes in the SOC aren't necessarily don't lend themselves to that. Like you still need a live human being making not just judgment calls, but also some intuitive calls as well.
100%, and that's my point. It's the challenge that the SOC has always faced is too many tools, too many alerts, too much data, but they still have to come up with a way to contextualize that to make that data useful. And that is exactly where AI can play today, where it does a great job of allowing those SOCs to get their arms around that just mountain of information that they're dealing with.
Okay, well, so rather than trying to make a SOC completely autonomous, then how do we begin designing it to do the grunt work, the sifting, the scanning, the prioritizing then?
Yeah, so I think you need to look at the areas that can be automated, things that you have clearly defined. A SOC runs well when you have good, well-defined processes. And historically, that's all been people processes. But now you can start to cherry pick the easy ones that you can automate, that you can move over to the machine, and then let them run that at scale. But it always comes back to the importance of the human in the loop. Someone needs to be there to make those nuanced decisions. The other thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is the transparency and governance that I think we need to make sure we're implementing now before we get too far down this path.
With the early adopters that you're in regular contact with, where are you seeing the roles emerge for humans? Where's the natural place? Where where are the judgment calls? Where are the places where you still need humans that you're finding?
Well, it's in the actual analyst position, I think, is the biggest. And what this allows you to do is even multiply. It's a force multiplier even for analysts, because it allows some of those junior analysts to play up to that senior analyst level. The other thing that, again, I don't think is being talked about enough is the benefit of the mental health and the job satisfaction that SOC analysts are going to get as we start seeing this new AI-driven SOC emerge. Everyone knows that analysts are overworked. Everybody talks about it, but nobody ever tries to fix it. And there's even ROI on that. The less time you have to spend reloading a head count, training, getting people up to speed, just by keeping them happy in their job, reducing their workload a little bit, and letting them really focus on the human part of it, that piece that AI can't do yet, that's really just going to make for a better product out of the SOC overall.
Let's turn to the delicate topic of pricing, and vendors in particular, cybersecurity vendors have come under fire for the prices of what these products and services cost. Curious what your advice is for organizations looking to maximize the value without breaking their bank. Obviously, AI products and services aren't being given away. How do you dance with that?
Well, I think again, you look for the upside, the benefits that AI is going to start to bring. So one of the biggest frustration in controlling costs in a SOC is the unpredictability of what you're seeing, especially when you start talking about SIM costs and having to make those harsh decisions about where we're storing data. Is it going to be in cold storage, or does it need to be something that needs to be indexed and readily available? And utilizing AI helps to make those decisions. Now, stepping away from AI for a second, and maybe a less popular way that we need to look at it is, frankly, vendors need to be better at how they come up with pricing. And I think there are things that we can look at that will help. A vendor-customer relationship needs to be symbiotic. And I think that there are things as vendors we can do to help make that cost more predictable so that hey, even if I have an unfortunate event happen this quarter, when I get that bill at the end of the quarter, it's going to be pretty much what I expected, maybe a little higher, a little lower. But that predictability is super important. And being able to demonstrate what you're spending the money on, and not only as a SOC manager, but up to the C-level as well, to prove that you can control your costs and that they are actually getting a return on investment for that outlay.
I'm also curious about your assessment of the state of SecOps and whether it's broken for both SOC professionals and CISOs. This feels like a good time to do a major overhaul of SecOps if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that that is a classic. I mean, that feels like something I've been talking about for the last 20 years. The approach has been, let's get more tools. Throw another tool at it. We need this new tool. Instead of looking horizontally across the SOC. And again, I go back to processes. Tools are important. They help us do our job better. But you need to have good processes. And, younger me would hate that term till one day I realized it's just your understanding of the best practice. And you reevaluate that constantly. If you come up with a better way to do something or measure something, change it and make that your new process. But it's important to have them written down and established and followed. And of course, gone over every once in a while. I think that's important to revamp them on the fly.
In that vein, MCPs are getting lots of praise for, in some quarters, like the ability to smash the silos, to get rid of that sort of siloed tool and instrument, sort of crazy SOC that you were referring to. Are they as rich and powerful and I think satisfactory even?
I think MCPs are great tools, but along with a lot of what we're seeing with AI today, I'm not sure they'll be here tomorrow. They fill a big need with small context windows. Okay. As those context windows grow, their needs become less and less. So we'll see where MCP's great tool now, but this technology is changing every day, and I'm not sure they'll be here forever. I think that agentic AI is, I know it's something that's talked about a lot, but I think, again, going back to processes, building tools to do very specific tasks and then allowing them to focus on that versus that sort of co-pilot approach where you're just asking a thing questions and it's spitting out what it thinks you want to hear.
Great. Chris, close us out with some thoughts around how you see SOC teams evolving as AI becomes more of the foundation of the Security Operations Center.
Well, I think it's just going to make analysts more effective. It's going to make them happier about going to work every day, or at least less miserable. Nobody's happy, but less miserable. And I think it's an exciting time. It's an exciting space to watch. It's changing very quickly. There's still a lot of hype, but as it starts to die down and really solidify, I think we're going to see a pretty big revolution here.
All right. Well, here's to a less miserable future. Really appreciate you coming by News Desk, Chris. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
We've been talking with Chris Jacobs of Securonics. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks for joining us for this segment. We'll see you next time.